25th of February, 1964, Miami Beach. Just another routinely fight for the most feared heavyweight champion of the world, Sonny Liston. Little bit did anyone in the arena know that they're about to witness one of the biggest sports upsets of all time and the beginning of an era lasting nearly 15 years. This was the night the greatest to ever do it was born.
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. was born in the midst of racial segregation on January the 17th, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky. His father painted billboards and his mother was a housemaid. One day, the 12-year-old Cassius got his bike stolen while checking out street markets in an auditorium in his hometown of Louisville. While he was filling up paperwork with a police officer, he talked about whipping the thief. The officer, by sheer coincidence, a boxing coach, told Cassius that he'd be better of learning how to box first. Clay went home and didn't think much of it. Sometime later, Cassius was watching amateur boxers on TV and decided to give boxing a second thought. After making his professional debut, Clay quickly gains confidence. Predicting the round in which he's going to win quickly becomes his trademark.
I understand that Jones liked to mix, but he must fall in six.
He must fall in six. Now, you mark that down.
On February 25th, 1964, he finally gets his shot at the heavyweight title against the infamous Sonny Liston. He enters the match as an underdog, but quickly cuts Liston with his jab in the first round. He shocks the crowd with his unorthodox defense, consisting of evading punches with risky moves, leaving his chin open. In the fourth round, Clay's eyes start stinging, and he goes through the next round completely blind. After the sixth round, Liston throws in the towel, and Cassius Clay becomes the heavyweight champion of the world. Right after the match in the conference room, Clay announces his conversion to Islam and later that year announces his new name, Muhammad Ali.
It was a white man's name, it was a slave name. And I'm no longer Clay, I'm no longer a slave, so now I'm Muhammad Ali.
Everything is going great for the newly crowned heavyweight champion. On April 28, 1967, Ali is drafted into the Vietnam War. He attends the draft lottery but refuses to step out of line. He goes into custody and is stripped of his boxing license and world champion title. The only thing he can do now is wait while Joe Frazier takes his title. In 1970, the state of New York finally gives him his license back, and in 1971, he fights Frazier in the legendary arena of Madison Square Garden. Frazier wins by unanimous decision.
9-6 for Frazier.
And Ali has to face his first loss.
And the reporters were stunned to see how I was whipping and hitting Joe Frazier and taking his shots. And most of those rounds I won. But on the judges' cards, I didn't win but a couple of them rounds, and I know that's wrong.
Ali beats Frazier 3 years later, but George Foreman took Frazier's belts, so Ali now has to face him. Their title fight, the so-called Rumble in the Jungle, became one of the most watched live events in the history of TV, with some estimates saying the viewer count peaked at 2 billion. Ali once again enters the fight as an underdog. Ali tires Foreman out by using the ropes to evade his punches, employing the so-called rope-a-dope tactic. In the 8th round, Ali knocks Foreman out and watches him fall to the canvas. Ali once again wins by a very unorthodox tactic and becomes the heavyweight champion for the second time. A year later, Ali fights Frazier for the second time in the title match named Thrilla in Manila. Frazier throws in the towel after the 8th round as the incredible heat in the arena took effect on both fighters. In March of 1975, Ali loses his belt to the much younger Leon Spinks, but manages to win it back in September of the same year. Now, he officially becomes the only boxer ever to win a title 3 times.
World heavyweight champion for the 3rd time, and here.
After this fight, Ali starts to show early symptoms of developing Parkinson's disease, but chooses to hide his diagnosis for as long as possible so he can continue fighting. He ends his career in 1981 and makes his diagnosis public in 1984. Muhammad Ali's remarkable journey, marked by triumphs and challenges, stands as an enduring testament to the indomitable human spirit and impact on the world inside and outside the ring.